Hey there. In this 10-minute masterclass, I'm going to be talking to you about the best time and the easiest time to transition your child from room sharing with you to their own room. Let's get started. I get this question a lot. When is the perfect time to transition my child? And the answer is there is no perfect time. There is no set age or stage when your child should transition from sleeping in your room to sleeping in a separate room. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics does suggest room sharing for the first 6 to 12 months, and room sharing does decrease the risk of SIDS. So it is certainly worth doing. And so you want to get really to that minimum of about 6 months before you are transitioning your child from your room to their room. But up to a year, they are suggesting that you do so. If you don't have the space or you are quite happy with your child sleeping in your room beyond a year, that's completely fine. There is no reason why you have to move your child from your room to a separate room at any age. Let's look at how children all over the world are sleeping. And most of the children on the planet are sleeping in close proximity to their family, to their parents and siblings. They're sleeping in real close proximity. So there's nothing saying that your child has to be sleeping independently in their own bed, in their own space, in their own room. There's nothing really saying that that has to happen at any set age. You know when it is right for you, and you want to be looking at things like developmentally, is it appropriate? Whereabouts is their bedroom? If you need to be getting up during the night, is it going to be a really long walk for you to get to their room? Is it going to be easy for you to get there? How is your child developmentally? Are they going to be sleeping for some longer stretches? Are they going to be waking up every hour? If they're waking up every hour and you've got to get up out of bed and walk to their room, that may not be the best thing to be thinking about doing, because that's a lot of traveling that you're doing in the middle of the night. So I would certainly keep your child in your room if that was the case. So you'll know when you're ready. You'll know when your child is ready. And I'll talk a little bit about making that change, how to make that a little bit easier. Now, remember, when you are dealing with any sleeping situation, whether that is your child sleeping in your room, whether they're in a bassinet, whether they're in a crib, whether in a toddler bed, whether you have a mattress on the floor, we really want to be thinking about everybody that is sleeping in that room. And it's something that everybody needs to be on board with. It's not just something that one person needs to be on board with. So you may need to be making some compromises there. So really do talk things through with your partner so that we can get everybody on the same page, because that can just make life so much easier if everybody's on the same page. And that may mean that you need to be thinking beforehand about when the room sharing is going to stop. I wouldn't give an exact date that, okay, we're going to room share until first birthday, because there may be some other things going on. But you could say sort of, I would really like to room share until minimum of this age. And then you can kind of see then where you are. Once you get to that stage, reassess, see where you are, discuss again with your partner and get that plan for moving forward. But everybody needs to be on the same page and on board when it comes to room sharing. Now, if you're ready to stop room sharing, now your child has been used to sleeping in your room for their entire life, and now, however old they are, 12 months old, or they're 2 years old, or they're 3 years old, however old they are, you're ready now to move them to a separate sleep space. Wow. What's it like when you travel? I know when I travel, it takes me a night or two to get used to sleeping in a new space. And for those first couple of nights, I have the worst night's sleep ever. Very, very challenging. It takes me forever to fall asleep. I wake up a billion times wondering where I am. What was that noise? It's just really different, and that can cause challenges with sleep. Well, of course, that's going to be the same for your child. If they have spent their entire life sleeping in one space, then you suddenly change that, chances are sleep is going to be really tricky. So let's see if we can make this as easy as possible for your child and then for you. This will come by your child getting used to that space. the chances are they may not be spending a huge amount of time in that room. So get the room ready for how it is when they're going to be sleeping there. Now, if you need to be moving the crib, the cot, or the toddler bed, the bed, whatever that is, obviously that's not going to happen just yet, but you can get the rest of the room ready and spend time hanging out and playing in there. So get your child used to being in that space. It will also get them used to being in that space with a really positive attitude. They're enjoying playing in there. They're enjoying hanging out in there. They're getting used to that space. And so then they're going to have a much easier time being in there if they're really used to it. Lots and lots of playtime. So you can start this weeks and weeks and weeks before you're even considering moving your child. If you have the room ready, you don't even know when you're going to be moving your child into that room. I would suggest starting this playtime, start hanging out in there right now, because sometimes when it comes to wanting to make that change from your child being in your room to them being a bit more independent, it can kind of creep up on you when you're suddenly ready. And a lot of making this easy comes with this preparation. So if you're already doing this preparation, then when you feel that you and your child are both ready to make this change, it's a really easy thing to continue doing. Playtime, hanging out in the bedroom every single day, just for short periods of time. Then what you can start doing is you can start beginning to associate that room with sleep. And you can do that by starting to do your sleep routines in that space. So you can start doing the beginning part of your nap time routine and your nighttime routine in the sleep space. Now that could be simply getting PJs on, doing the diaper change. When you're coming out of the bath, going into there, drying off, quick massage, PJs on, and then leaving the room and then just carrying on doing as you normally do. What we're beginning to do here is have their room, what will be their sleep space, they're beginning to associate that with sleep. That is then going to make this a little easier. As the days, weeks go on, you can begin to do more and more of the nap time routine and nighttime routine in the room. So we're gradually introducing more of their sleep, what will be their sleep space, into doing your nighttime routine. And then in the end, you'll get to where you're doing most of the routine in their separate space. Then you'll be coming then into your room and just finishing up and then helping them down to sleep. These things are actually really, really important. You can start doing these now, even if you have no intention of your child moving rooms for months, but this can be really, really helpful. The slower that you start working on this, the easier it's going to be. Then you've decided you're ready to now make the change. You're now ready to have your child in their room. Depending on how old your child is, you can completely get them on board with this. If they're a 3-year-old, they may be super excited. They can help move the bed from your room into their room as, safely as possible. They may want to choose some new bedding. They can help get the bed ready, decide what stuffed animals they're going to be putting and where. So they're really getting them on board, really having them help you. This will really help with their understanding of what's happening. If they're a little bit younger, making the change of moving the bed from your room to their room as early in the day as possible, and then spending a lot of time in the room. They're associating now that their bed is in this different room, and then you can try for your nap there, beginning of the night. I strongly suggest, if you have been close to your child, maybe if you have been bed sharing or your child has been really close to you whilst they are sleeping, that you actually spend a couple of nights sleeping in their room. Now, if they're a little bit older and they're super excited about this, don't feel that you have to do this. But if your child is a little bit younger, a little bit more slow to warm up temperament, or a little bit more intense and spirited, I would actually plan on spending a night or two in their room. So make up a bed. I want you to be comfortable. Make up a bed in their room. I wouldn't be sharing with them. I don't want you trying to get in a toddler bed. We want their sleep space in their room to be for them. So make up a bed on the floor so you can comfortably sleep, and then have 1 or 2 nights sleeping in there. Now, the venue where your child is sleeping has changed. It may be that they've even got a new bed where they're sleeping, but then they've got that closeness to you so that if they do wake during the night, I know I've woken up and I wonder where the heck I am. If they do that, you are instantly there. And then this will help with long-term success, that we're not getting to the point where they're really upset and frightened and scared, because that can be hard, going back into a space where you're really upset, frightened, and scared. So spend a night or two in the room with them. You can still get them down to sleep the exact same way that they have been. If they're independent, that's fine. And then when you go to bed, you would go to bed in the room. If you've still been helping your child sleep, you would do the exact same thing. And then what I would do on the third or fourth night would be to remove that bed that you've made. Don't let your child see you doing this. It would just be gone when it comes to that bedtime. And then if they do wake during the night, you want to get to them as quickly as possible, again, because we want everything to remain positive. We don't want your child to then be upset, freaking out because they're wondering where they are. You want to be getting there as quickly as possible. Expect sleep to get a little bit wonky when we're making these changes. It just does when we make any changes to sleep. It can get a little bit more challenging before it gets a little bit easier. That's normal and to be expected. Don't worry about that. Things will then settle down as you get more used to it. We're normally seeing about a week of where sleep feels a little bit crazy. It doesn't mean that it's not working. The changes that you're making are not working. It just takes a little bit of time for us to be finding our new normal. And remember, this may not be your child's choice to be moving from your room to their room. So they may protest a little bit. Be there for them, help them, support them, and that will be so much easier in the long run for you. Good luck making your changes to where your child's sleeping. I'll see you in the next masterclass.